but we have a budget and every item has to go to the board for approval if it falls outside of that budget. But once the budget is approved, then anything that's on that budget spreadsheet can be purchased. And in fact, should be purchased.
Okay, so we could have maybe a one-time vote for certain reoccurring expenses, and we don't have to keep voting every $500.
Okay, Kurt, I've had my hand raised, and you did speak more than once. But anyway, I do agree
I have to recognize
wholeheartedly.
you, right?
Do what?
When you raise your hand, I have to recognize you.
Yeah, but again, but you've spoken more than once on the same topic. So let's follow Robert's Rules of Order again. Now, we're all learning this, I understand
Yeah.
that. But again, I wholeheartedly agree that contract items, that of course needs to be paid. That makes complete sense. But everything else needs to be a board decision, unless there are budgets allotted for, say, picking up maintenance supplies, things of that nature. So, but as far as the attorneys, that's something that absolutely needs to be a board decision before you contact an attorney. Now, I agree, have one point man to contact an attorney outside of Legal Shield. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So if it's just for that will absolutely have my vote to have one point of contact, but not the full authority to contact them for anybody to contact them without going through the board and being approved by the board. And that is to save money. We have Legal Shield in place to utilize right now.
Recognize Jimmy. You got the floor.
Didn't Legal Shield, when you signed the contract with Legal Shield, request that we had one point of contact with them, with Legal Shield?
No.
Is that-
Not necessarily, just if he had the credit card, they
Yeah.
definitely were okay talking to me.
Why do you exclude them from this statement?
Okay, good question. Because you can use Legal Shield. We all can. Because again, it's a one-time fee monthly. But you cannot ask the same question that he asked and expect to get an answer. You're allowed one conference with an attorney regarding a subject matter. But again, it's a one-stop shop, and I think that's a good outfit to utilize.
If you need more clarification or something like that, then it costs you extra. So you say you got to call them back and say, okay, well, we have a couple more questions on this particular topic.
I mean, in my experience, they're pretty lenient on that. So, but again, you can't expect $100 and be bombarded with 100 hours of attorney advice and counsel, right? Believe me, it's a bargain for what you get. But again, what I'm coming at that is completely separate. Yes, we use Legal Shield. The only restriction from that is not to use it against board members. But I'm proposing that any future endeavors with the law firm always be board approved, and we're all copied on emails. But all of this goes to one point of contact, and that would be the current president. But again, copied on emails, and also disclose the correspondence that occurred with the attorney. So we all are up to date, and we all have knowledge of what's occurring with the law firm. A future potential law firm. That'll avoid situations with, this will be the last thing I'm gonna say, that'll avoid the situation with any meetings against board members, for anybody. So,
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever occurred, but I don't think it's legal anyway. Nazar?
Yeah, I'm throwing something out there that even with Legal Shield, that any communication should be copied and pasted to all the board members as well. Any communication, because that is one way for people to use a service that we're paying for personal gain.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, I am too.
I am agreeing with all of y'all, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay?
Especially anything that's gonna be like what happened on the previous, 2 boards ago, I guess, where was it the associate agreement that was made, or was it the Tran lawsuit that happened? And I guess it wasn't approved by the board.
Several different things, yeah.
Yeah, so
Several things.
that's the kind of stuff
That's why I'm in agreement with,
Yeah.
he's saying that, we all need to know what's going on.
Right.
Just one person calling and doing this, it needs to go through the board.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anything major like that, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, I think what NASA's proposing is across the board, that I can't go in and call and ask for this and that. So I think that's what he's suggesting, is that it does need to be ran across.
Yeah, run
So we
across.
discussed, like,
And
say-
we can do it on the phone.
Yeah.
Nothing that we gotta have
A
special
regular
meeting
board
for.
meeting,
Yeah, as long as we're all in agreement, we agree that, hey, let's contact the lawyer for blah, blah, blah.
so we don't need 3 people calling the same attorney for different things.
I don't think we need to go over 19.
I think that
That's kinda
covers it
redundant
really.
too. Kind of covered that in all the
Yep, I
same
agree.
thing right there.
So 20,
See, I'm out of order here if that way look at this one, but, so vote to confirm Kurt as single point of contact. For that, I'm gonna, I'll motion to confirm that. So, but that's only for that portion, not for, it doesn't allow the exclusive, without getting board approval.
Exactly.
Second.
I'm in agreement with that.
a third that.
So scratch 19.
Okay.
I guess that's 17 for me, okay.
Moving on to 20, management of Wi-Fi network passwords, etc.
Yeah, I was just more of a curiosity, and if we need to table this, and it could even be a side discussion, but I was just wondering, who takes care of that router and stuff out there? You take care of it?
Wait, I was gonna say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I mean,
Oh,
it's
I didn't-
concerning that, but I mean, I dump out the humidifier water, but, if y'all wanna take turns on that, cause I mean, some of y'all
My
are
boat's
here.
right there, I can. while
I've done
we're
it a
here-
couple times.
Okay, that would be
while we're here, I'm happy
fantastic,
to
but,
do it. Yeah.
but either way, that unit in there, that is a used extender. Kurt and I talked about this briefly on the phone, and I think it'd be a wise idea to try out 2 other extenders initially. They're inexpensive, and I can install them free of charge like I did on that one. So I think that would also, I have a fine connection to my boat. I know others don't maybe have as strong a product to absorb that connection, so that might be an issue. But if we establish other extenders, then that'll really solidify the liveaboard. But as far as it is right now, we only have 1 password, and in the future, we can utilize a program maybe to limit bandwidth per person and even have individual passwords. That's more extensive,
Right.
and that could be down the road, if that makes
There's
sense.
some management. As far as the existing password, are you the one that has that, Eric? And the only reason I'm asking is I think somebody else needs to have that. It's not me.
The password is just Marina 242. I think we all have that.
Oh, but I mean the administrative password on the gear,
Administrative.
I don't think
on the
there is.
equipment.
No, it's
It's
just,
just a password.
yeah, that's it. Marina 242.
Okay.
Now, that may not be a good thing. I need to check with that. I'm not 100% certain if that is the one that actually where somebody can go in there and change some of the settings.
Right.
I think that's proprietary to Xfinity. I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
I don't believe that I approved any such option.
Oh, okay. And that'd be great if they manage it. That's fantastic because then we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm just not
Okay.
certain if that's the
you
case
think
or
about
not.
it, if you would just let me know, just so I can. And part of the reason I'm asking is because sometimes it's hung out there, or sometimes it'll say, no internet, so you gotta, I plug it and plug it back in, and I don't think I'm doing any damage by doing that, but it does bring it back online. So.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. That is the way to handle it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't realize you were doing that.
Yeah.
If you're unplugging and plugging it back in to make sure the signal is strong, and it can be done remotely, but that's an even quicker way to do it. So, now if there's anything extensive problem, I do have all the information, which I believe Kurt does too, but I do have the information that goes to Xfinity. So if anybody does need that,
Yeah.
I have that. I believe Kurt does too. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, man. Good night.
Do you want to vote on these
Yeah.
last 2 things before you take off? We ready to move on?
Which 2 things are we voting? Oh, 21, 22, or
21, 22. Raising of maintenance fees. I make a motion that we raise the non-liveaboard fees from $43.83 to the CPI of $49.50 a month, and also raise the liveaboards from the $93.78 to $95 even.
and I
And
think you should
we've already
just,
had enough reason, people, we need to rebuild finger piers. Most of it's on the liveaboard side. okay? We've discovered that the electrical sockets
You
are,
mean on the non-living board side?
yeah, the non-livable, I'm sorry. Yeah, the non-livable board side, the electrical sockets are corroded really bad. You know, we've got a lot of electrical work that we need to do on their side. We gotta spend a lot of money on there. I found a lot of electrical issues over there. The only way we can do it, and by the board, we can raise the CPI, I mean, we can raise without the board, without the members voting, the CPI. The CPI was 8.1% in July. So in July, we, whatever the 8.1 was the CPI, and 4950 is a little short of being 8%, if somebody wants to calculate that.
Can you give more background of why concerning the electrical and the water that was added, the history behind it?
Well, initially, there was no service on the non-living board side. And one of the past presidents took it upon himself out of his own pocket to put electric meters on that side over there. So when he did that, now we're reading the electric meters, you know, that's time consuming. Now we've got to maintain the electric meters, now we're having to replace some of the electric meters, you know, so there's an added expense that wasn't there when the initial corporation was organized. And the initial assessment fees were set in place. So, and they were half of what the liverboard sides were, the maintenance fees were half.
Darren, did you hear that explanation as to